kicking it off. I am with the ladies of Hoots. What are we going to call this episode? Hoots Hotties?
Sure.
Hoots Hotties Gone Wild, right?
Pretty sure
There will be no boobs.
Yeah.
Pretty sure you're not going to be calling that at the end of this.
I promise you I will not show my boobs either, under any circumstances ever. Nobody needs to see that, right? All right, so I'm Mike Wilshire. I'm your host. I'm here with the Hoots Happening podcast, and I have all three. Well, I mean, there's more of y'all that are bartenders, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I've got three bartenders here with me today. Run around the room. Introduce yourself, Ashley. Start with you. Ashley. How long have you been a bartender, Ashley?
23, 24 years.
Man, we have to carry the one, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I need your feet.
Yeah, there's like, I don't know, but I've been there for a while.
Long
right?
time.
Long time. And
Andrea.
Yes. Tell them how long you've been a bartender.
About the same amount as Ashley.
We started off together.
We're
went to
going to
kindergarten.
both be 40 this year, so we've been doing
Yep.
this a hot minute.
Long
40
time.
years old, right? Does it feel old? I'm 50, so I know it feels old.
I don't feel old.
I do.
I feel ancient.
Dusty. I don't know.
Right?
Dusty, crusty.
I think whenever I stand up out of the bed, it sounds like a door opening, like creaking, you know, and stuff. Like I have to get my wind and go. All right, and you're the newest.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Kandi. I've been a bartender for 6 months. Ever since she threw me to the wolves.
Right.
I did.
She's like, you look good in workout clothes and you got nice legs. You should come be a bartender, right? That's what it
Well,
is.
her very first day, she was coming in as a waitress.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think it was that. I think it was a beer something.
Yeah.
So by the time the shift ended, she ended up a bartender. We went through three different positions before.
Yeah. The second shift.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
It's just 1 ounce of everything. Just remember that, 1 ounce of everything.
if you could just see the amount of cheat sheets and lists
Laminated
and
cheat
laminated things that she has back there.
I had never poured a drink before I came here.
You
It
know,
was very,
1,000 years ago when I started off bartending, they still made us wear the white shirt with the bow tie. And I worked at like Jimmy G's Oyster Bar was what it was called. And I had the garters on my arms, and we were supposed to try to toss stuff like Tom Cruise and Cocktail. And I was like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna make a cold, wet drink and throw it at these people. I'm not gonna be tossing stuff around and be shaking, you know, showing
Don't forget
off
to smile.
Don't forget to. That's awesome. Somebody's touching microphones. What y'all doing? It's you.
It was my boob. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. The boobage did it. Grab your mic and turn it. See if you can turn it. Let's see if we can. Yeah, that's better. And then, let's see what happens. They just get away, right? They just get away from y'all, right? I know that whenever my daughter.
The boobs or the mic?
if that one goes missing, you're never going to find it.
Never getting this one back.
So is that the prerequisite to work at Hoots? You know, you gotta be blessed, blessed like with the abundance by God. You know.
I don't know. Here lately, just put in an application.
Right. You're going through them. It's like the Dirty Dozen, right?
Just put in an application.
People keep dropping out. You know, it's like, you know, 1 minute they're there, the next minute they're gone.
They're
kind of
gone.
thing. I've worked at a place like that before. But now y'all, with the exception of you being there 6 months, y'all have held on for a long time. You've been here.
I've been here eight years, I think, 7 or 8 years. If you ask me how it really feels, it feels about 37. But I think 7 or 8.
I'm gonna tell you, man, you're the best security I think I've ever worked with.
Sure.
Well,
So we can tell my Ashley story because I don't know if I've told
Which
it on
one?
the Hoots Happening podcast.
I have so many stories.
But so we were here one night, and for the listeners who don't know, I don't drink and drive. I have somebody drop me off. If I'm going to drink, it's like 2 drinks and then it's done. And it's like in 3 hours. So that way I won't get a ticket or a DWI. Hopefully, knock on wood, right? With 2 drinks, I don't know what the law is now. If you even spilt liquor on you, you could probably get a DWI, you know, type thing. So I'm here. Ashley's here. I've been dropped off. I'm going to get picked up. And this lady decided she was going to take someone home with her. And I think she was trying to get him to get in the car with her. And then there was more drama afterwards. And it just carried on to the point that it was like, okay, not only can we not let this person drive because we didn't serve them, you know, but this person's got something wrong with them. So we need to call law enforcement. So cops come. Now, I am extremely drunk. The kind of drunk that where you're getting driven home drunk, and I pre-planned it drunk. And I mean, I think I'd had like it was a a Thursday or something, Wednesday, because I don't remember, it was the Bag Boys were here throwing cornhole, and so they're here, and you have to go outside and deal with the police. And she turns around and she's like, "Get inside." And I was like, "Look, I was a cop long enough. I know I ain't doing nothing illegal."
He goes, "No, my
I'm not-
ride's almost here." I was like, "Whatever."
I'm not missing this shit show. This is it's like a train wreck. That lady, it was that whole Ron White, you have the right to remain silent, but you don't have the ability. She just kept talking.
So I've had many shit shows, many shit shows. But my favorite shit show of all was the cops were here for another reason, and some lady at 2:30 at night walks up the driveway. She has no shoes on. Her hair is all matted up, and she's sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I know I didn't see her here. So I go over, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Nope. My brother-in-law beat the crap out of me at the camper down the street, and I need a ride to Greenville." So I'm like, "All right, well, hey, officer, by the way, you have another problem. This isn't my problem. This is your problem." So the cop comes over, and he's like, "Ma'am, can I help you?" She said, "Yeah, I need you to give me a ride to Greenville." And that cop turned around, and he looked at me, and he said, "I guess your ass is taking her to Greenville." And I said, "Well, we're not." I said, "But can we just take her back to the camper where she came from? Because it's right here down the street." So he said, "I'm going to take her back to that camper and see if anybody's there." So he takes her back over there, and he brings her back the first time and says, "Well, I can't leave her there because the guy that already beat her up is still there and won't open the door." And so a couple of minutes went by, 30 minutes or so, and I was like, "Okay, well, can you try again? Because surely if that guy's worried about going to jail, he's gone by now." So they left, and he took her and never brought her back. So I'm hoping that either he took her to the safe baby place at the QT, or he took her back to the camper.
Or to Greenville.
Yeah.
Like, whichever came first,
I
right?
seriously doubt he took her to Greenville.
I mean, like, you tell this story, and people would think that we live in the banjo-picking community.
I mean, and she didn't know much English either. So I know enough Spanish to know if you're calling me a name or kind of get me by.
Yeah.
I had no idea what this woman was saying. Zero. And so all I heard was Greenville. And I was like, "Where are your shoes?" And she said, "I had none." And I'm like, "Oh, we have a problem."
What's your best, Andrea?
So many. They're so hard to choose.
Well, I love how you handled the little cute girl the other day. We were in here a little while back, and there's a little cute girl in here. And I don't know. I don't think hers was drink personally, because she'd leave, come back, leave, come back. I thought she had left 3 or 4 times. And then finally, I think y'all decided to cut her off. And that was the only time I ever seen Andrea so nice. "No, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to lean in."
Oh, I was here.
Kindly whispered it.
The girl that kept going out on the patio. And so Andrea is the worst about saying, "You actually can't have another drink because my boss right there cut you off."
I like to take the heat off of me.
I'm like,
can
"Oh,
be the bad guy."
That's this guy. This is this guy right here.
This right here.
Bring
right
it.
here.
I did it.
It's
I
over
did.
Here, right?
And I actually didn't do it. Kat did it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, "It's fine. I'll take it."
Well, it's funny because I'm sitting there, we were planning all this, and I'm talking with y'all, and it's funny how y'all can go from the conversation to security back to the conversation in a split second. You're like, "Yeah, what I think we could do on the podcast, that bitch is gone." And then we'll go and we'll do
It's multitasking.
Right. I'm like, what happened right there in the middle of it? That bitch, what did I say? Was it me? Am I getting kicked out right now?
So I've been telling Mike forever, like, "I'm not doing this. This is crazy to me. I'm not doing this.
Like
none
nine times
of
that
this." And so I'm over there, and I had been drinking, so I have all the stories.
That's
And
the best one.
I have to look at him and make sure he's not recording me on his phone.
I will hit it so quick.
And he's like, he's got his phone in his hand. I was like, "Let me see that." Right? He's like, "I promise, I'm not."
Oh, well, hit
And
it
I'm
quick.
laughing,
I wasn't
and I'm
in.
talking so much crap. And I just knew he was going to have that thing on record and be like, "I don't even
We
need
gotta
her in
get
front of me."
liquored up for the
Oh yeah.
stories.
Oh yeah.
100%.
You get all the stories.
100%.
Get all that. Have you had 6 months? Have you had any fun stories? Anything?
No,
strange?
I mean with customers. My favorite was when the 2 guys were out there and they told Jeremy to go back inside with his barmaid and his chicken legs. Go back inside.
Yeah.
with
Wait a
his
minute, Jeremy?
barmaid.
Yeah, because Jeremy's such a little guy with his little chicken legs.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Me and Jeremy had actually kicked a kid out and his girlfriend one night, and coming up the sidewalk, she's cussing me, he's cussing me. I turn around and he has his pants down, and I start laughing, and he said something to Jeremy, and I was like, no one can even take you serious right now. Like, pull your drawers up, kid. Like,
This is like child porn.
yeah, like,
Pull it up.
this is illegal for me to even watch. Like, I have to go right now. And Jeremy's like, did he call me little? And I was like, obviously he doesn't know what little and big means.
I
Cause
just see all these gangsters having a meeting in like a house somewhere, and they're all meeting and they're talking, and they're like, we found a way to stop us from being caught by the cops. It's called a belt. We put it on, we cinch our pants up, they'll never fall down, and we can run. I mean, I remember that way back when I was a cop. And
they don't run here, though.
No, yeah.
It actually takes me a little while to get them to leave a lot of times. It's not ever voluntarily, usually.
And I mean, they're glutton for punishments, because it's not like you are being nice when you're telling them to get gone.
I'm nice.
You are?
Yeah,
Oh,
until I'm not.
right. And
Then at that point, and then they're like, I'm calling the owner. I'm like, is it past 9 where your minutes are free? Because if not, here's my phone. I don't give a damn. Call them.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't care. Call them. Call them.
I know the owner.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I know.
Me too.
You know, I have never had the audacity to ever say to anyone, I know the owner, or do you know who I am, with intent of them answering that they knew who I was.
And sometimes they do know Steven and Kat. And I'm like, well, you're going to get the same response from Steven and Kat. Because if I said you can't come in here,
Right.
Steven and Kat are going to tell you, you can't come in here.
Well, I know Steve and Kat very well, and I know calling them late at night to tell them I am in trouble at their bar would not end well. It would end with being in more trouble. So obviously they don't know them that well.
So I've worked in bars for a long time, and I have never seen the amount of people here recently in my career as I, like here recently, prior than to before, of people that have talked themselves into the back of a cop car.
Oh, yeah.
So many.
They talk themselves into the back of the cop car.
The cops will say, "Here, call somebody. They can come get you. You know, go home."
Right.
No.
Well, I had one in particular. There's a big fight in the parking lot, so I'm outside and I'm screaming, I'm hollering, I'm cussing. We tell all the girls, don't go outside, don't want anyone to get hurt. Well, at the end of the day, the parking lot is still kind of my responsibility. I do pay attention to the parking lot. So usually whenever I tell somebody, sit down and shut up, they usually do it. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the parking lot and I'm like, everybody just get in your car, everybody go home. So the cops pull up. So this fool walks over to the cops and he's like, officer, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And the officer's like, okay, dude, like no one said you did. Just get in your car, go home. Nope. He kept on and kept on and kept on. So next thing you know, here comes the other cop. He pulls up, they put him in handcuffs. And I'm like, did you just talk yourself into the back of the cop car? And I'm talking to him through the window. And he's like, I don't know. Am I going to jail? And I'm like, well, if you are, it's your own dumbass fault because you talked yourself into the back of that cop car.
You were so gone.
So they let him out. They took the handcuffs off and told him to call his wife to come and get him. And he said, put me back in the car. I don't want her to come get me. Just put me back in the car. And the cop was like, we're not doing that. Like, it's, I can't just put you back in the car. And he was like, I'm calling my mom. He called his mom. His mom finally got here. And I said, I just want you to know, your son is a dumb shit. He literally talked himself. Nothing was wrong. He was fine. He talked himself into that cop car. And so I had to explain it to her. And she's like, I'll never understand. I'm like, you or me both.
And I want to speak for the cops here for a minute. I don't know how y'all feel. Like, y'all like a busy day, right? You like a busy day because your day goes by like that. Mm-hmm. I know that policemen probably, whenever I did that job, I wanted to make 2 calls that day. The call signing on, going SO, and going OD. Those were the 2 calls I wanted to make. I didn't mind driving in the AC car, riding around, just making sure the neighborhood's safe. If it was, nice day, rolling the windows down, making sure the neighbor's safe. And you go on calls if you have to go on them. So, no cop shows up and says, man, I can't wait to get to Hoots and take 9 people to jail.
No, they
could've
don't.
just called their mama.
No,
they are showing up here going, please don't be that stupid.
But I can tell someone to call somebody to come and get them, and then they think it's just, I'm just talking. An officer will pull up, and guess who's coming to get them? Their mama. Yeah. Like that. They're like, you got 7 minutes, and they're like, oh, give me 6. I'm on it. Mom's coming. I'm like, well, we could have just done that already and just killed all this bullshit in between.
You could have sat and drank water and waited for your mama to get here.
Or you
right?
could have just waited till I clocked out. I'd have took your dumb ass home, you
Right,
know? But
right,
no,
right.
we had to do this whole big thing, and you had your mom here in 6 minutes. Explain it to me.
You know how mad you'd be as a mom
Yeah.
in the middle of the night?
Oh,
Your boy
still.
wakes you up.
We had one a couple of weeks ago, and his mom. I was laughing with Andrea because I've been off work, so I've been kind of playing around since I've been off work, and me and Andrea are standing outside. The mom comes to pick him up. She jumps out of her truck. Boobies just a flapping. It's 3:00 in the morning. And I said, I would kill my kid. It's one thing to come pick you up because you've been drinking. You call me for some dumb shit like this, and I ain't got a bra on. You're in trouble.
I can tell you, free range titties always leads to.
I mean,
the
at
funniest
some
situation
point,
ever.
at certain ages, you shouldn't have free range titties.
I mean, yeah. Right.
Certain sizes, like I should not just walk around without a bra.
I know every woman in America goes home and says, "Do we have anything else going on?" And somebody's like, "Nope." She goes.
I
and
tell
does
Kat
that.
all the time, bras off, bud.
Yeah,
Not
sorry.
happening.
Not going anywhere, huh?
Before I get home, this thing is unsnapped. I'm pulling in my driveway, and
God, I
they're
love it.
they're unleashed.
They're unleashed.
Unleashed.
Unleashed. Oh my God, I love it. That is awesome.
Them 24-hour bras is not the truth, because I ain't never found one I could wear for 24 hours.
All right, so moving on to the next subject, I wanted to talk about, for y'all, the evolution of, we talked about it a little bit out on the back porch before when we were doing our pre-interview, but the evolution of, say, the bartender, or sorry,
Oh, is that
waitress.
what we're doing?
Are we doing waitress, bartender, waitress?
You didn't see my flag?
She raised the flag for, no,
The door's
no,
locked.
no, for wine. Oh,
Okay, yeah, that too.
No, I raised the flag.
I know, but hey, what
She's
is
got
it?
to let those,
Oh,
got to let the other folks in.
just kidding.
So the evolution of bar prices. So whenever I was younger and in college towns and near the military, we had quarter night, and it was like on a Tuesday night. And this is going to lead me into another point that I want to talk to y'all about. But so Tuesday night was quarter night, and I would always tell the guys, I was like, look, I know you think that you're going to be smart and go there with 75 cents and get drunk. You are not. You need to take like $5-6 with you.
Yeah.
And so when you get a beer, you hand them $1, let them keep the 75 cents that way, because they're working for $2.15 an hour. Or back then, I guess it was $2 an hour or $1.75, and they're working for less than minimum wage. They're supposed to get gratuity.
On a serious note, I don't think that people realize when us as servers are serving you, if you don't tip me, first of all, you're not my favorite person. Second of all, I have to pay taxes on your money. I pay taxes on my sales. It's costing me for you to come out and get drunk.
Yep, I'm going in the hole.
As a bartender, I don't want to pay for you to get drunk all night and act like a jackass.
Right.
So at least if you're tipping me, I'm going to feel a little bit better about,
Right.
you being a butthole.
Yeah.
But I mean, we definitely don't make, enough money to be in a position where if we don't get tips, it's costing me to come to work.
Right.
And for me, I'm on the management side of things now, and so it's different for me. And I'll be the first one. I take really good care of my girls. And if my girls come up to me and say, hey, someone stiffed me on $100 tab or whatever, I take my little short self right over there and I'm like, was something wrong with your service? Well, no, why? Well, I'm just trying to figure out why you didn't tip my bartender.
Right.
Oh, my bad. It was a mistake. I've never had anyone say, I just didn't want to. It's
Right.
always been my bad, a mistake. And I can see that in that POS, but for some people that are here every weekend, you're running out of excuses, so.
Well, I get to brag on yes, absolutely. I get to brag on Stoney LaRue. So I mean, you've heard Stoney LaRue in the past, okay? So he has a fan base. He has people who love him, and so he came over to a bar that I was managing right after his concert. He did it in another large venue. We were at a small bar, and so he came over. Y'all need me to mute y'all while I'm talking because the girls are coughing and they're hacking and touching microphones left and right. You know what that scratchiness is? That's the microphone. I gotta mute y'all while y'all get your wine. Thank God we're FCC, not FCC regulated, right? We can drink while we do this, right? So the funny thing about Stoney is he made sure that, like when he came over, he said, give me the tab at the end of the night. Well, some girl that's a groupie or whatever says, I have his tab. It was like a $250 tab. They're drinking top shelf. You know, I mean, like we that bottle of Grey Goose ain't never been so happy. And it'd been sitting there for so long, it's rubbing alcohol. And he at the end of the night, the lady, like $255 was the tab. She paid $255 even, zero as a tip. And
I have a different way of dealing with people.
Oh, I went straight to Stoney.
Yeah.
I went straight up to him and said, "Hey man, was there something wrong?" Like you said, was there something wrong? Because I pulled this waitress off the floor so she could work for you. And I don't know what 20% of 250 is to you, but 20% of 250 to me is $50.
I have no problem making a grown man feel like less than a grown man. So if you want to come out and sling your ding, 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 ding around and want to buy everybody's drinks, well, you can have that same energy when you're tipping my bartenders.
Right.
She did
Right.
that. I wasn't here very long at all, and there was a guy that came in and he popped off. I'm tipping her $100. So at the end of the night, it was time for him to pay, and his card declined. She stood there for a good 45 minutes. No, you tipping
We
her
went through like
$100.
4 or 5 cards and finally a trip to the ATM, but my girl got her money. But
Got the money.
I mean, at the end of the day, my girls are here to make money. We all have kids. We all have bills. We have big girl bills. You know, we're all in our upper age. We have mortgages. We have car payments. We're not 16, 17 years old just working in a bar.
Yeah, you're not working your way through college. You're
Yeah,
actually
and you know,
doing
you
this
have
as
to
a
come and
choice.
pay and hang out with us hags. Like, this ain't free. You don't get this shit for free.
I love it. I love it. So tell them, Andrea, about your change story.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
come on, the
Please,
change
you
story.
have to.
Oh, please let me tell it. God, let me tell
Let
it.
her tell it.
Well, let me tell my take of it. So, and
Or
to
I'll
me,
interject if there's a...
To me, this is absolutely offensive what the person did. Your tip jar is not a trash can. Your tip jar is not an ashtray. Okay, it's not the cup holder. And so, whenever somebody throws like a couple of quarters, dimes, and the nickels and pennies in there, and this is a bar that works on the 25 cent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing you got in that till
Yes.
is cash and 25
Quarters.
cent quarters,
Correct.
right? Kind of thing when it's over and done with. Man, I got the mic turned up hot. We can hear them all the way across the room, right? We're gonna have to. Let me see if I can turn the gain down just a little bit. We are a functioning bar here, and we got to make sure that everyone knows that there's still stuff going on.
I
while
have
we're
the
doing all
best story about Andrea and change. And it's actually one of my favorite stories. So, homegirl over here, I'm doing my normal thing, walking around the floor, and I look over and I make eye contact with Andrea, and she is pissed. So I walk over on the other side of the bar. I'm like, "What is wrong with you?" And she said, "If I get one more quarter, someone's going to eat it." I was like, okay. I blew it off like it was no thing. Next thing I know, this one is throwing quarters. And so I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, "Andrea, you can't just throw it back at them. Like, throw it in the trash. Do something. Don't hit somebody with a quarter." I could just see that lawsuit. Homegirl knocked my eye out with the quarter that I tried to tip her.
Like
She's
I was
ungrateful,
aiming real
right?
hard for it. I was aiming right
Yeah.
for it. when
So
I
a
did
month
it.
later or so, I'm working behind the bar. And about the third quarter I got, I was like, "It's unprofessional if I throw it. Please throw this damn quarter. Please throw this damn quarter." And she goes, "You see, that very same night, a man came up and emptied his pocket, his nickels, dimes, and pennies. Andrea picks up the tip jar and just slings it into the wall." And I said, and Tina is the one that walks around here and picks up all the change during the day. She has this massive change jar.
Yeah.
Tina was standing at the end of the bar. She goes, "Oh no, what are you doing?" And I'm dying laughing. So
All them one-armed bandits
for
at the
the
casino that
longest
she could
time,
have got.
the
Right?
longest time, we had a little cup back there that had nickels, dimes, and it's still in the office.
I think it's still back there.
Tina
yeah.
goes, "If y'all could just throw money away, just put it in this cup."
Mine was, I wasn't here. I hadn't even been here a month, and there was some quarters somewhere, and I told Jeremy, he's like, "Here's some quarters." I said, "Go put them in Andrea's tip jar." He's like, "F you, I ain't putting those quarters in her tip jar."
Keith came in one night with one of his friends and told his friend, he said, "Here, I'll give you $20 if you go put these 50 cents in her tip jar." And his friend was like, "Okay." So he walks up and Keith is standing in the very back of the bar just watching.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
It
he
was
walks
planned.
up. Yeah, oh, it
yeah.
was. So he walks up and he sticks him in there, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I hucked him at him, and Keith's like, "I told you."
There's a sound effect on this board, and I want to see if it shows. the sound of those pennies and nickels hitting
The wall.
hitting Andrea's jar.
No.
No,
That's way too heavy.
It's way too heavy.
It's like ding.
I figured it'd be something like,
That wasn't
that's how
it.
you know. That's how you know the fight has begun, right?
Yeah.
Like they say, Rocky, they done ring the
Andrea is super calm until she's not. And I really, Andrea and I have been here. Well, she's been here 4 or 5 years. And so her and I are like, we're old G's here. And so never really seen her excited. But, Andrea and I are pretty tight. So I've always thought in my head, like, if it ever goes down, I hope she's standing right behind me. So one night we had a girl come in here and started a bunch of shit. And I'm walking this way, Andrea's behind me, and I hear that girl call Andrea a bitch.
Oh, God.
And I stopped dead in my tracks and turned around and I said, Andrea, And Andrea's like, she puts her fist down, she's like, I'm gonna kill this bitch. I'm gonna kill this bitch. And I'm like, because I'm thinking, I can't get to you fast enough. Andrea's in
What was
between
the
me.
deal?
I don't remember what the issue
I
was.
don't remember.
But
She ended up trying to run someone over. She grabbed B by his boobies.
grabbed me by his boobs. She was walking this direction. I'm behind Ashley, and she's like, well, you're an effing bitch. And I just turned around.
Calm. And I was like, oh no.
And I just zeroed in on this girl. And Ashley is behind me, and she's like, Andrea? Andrea?
You're literally talking someone off of the cliff. Like, don't do it.
She's like, if I had yelled your name, you probably would have jumped at her. So I had to say it very quietly. I was like,
Oh my God, I love it. All right, so we got to go over real quick the lineup for tonight. It is free pool, free darts, $15 buckets, right? Who's working tonight?
Tina.
Tina is working tonight. Okay, awesome. Make sure you bring quarters so you
Yes,
can tip her in
lots of quarters.
No,
Tina's
I-
mean too.
Tina
Hey,
likes
I do-
change.
I do want to make sure that it is okay. Like if I hand you three, it's $3.25, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
hand it
that's
to you, and the quarters are
We're
there, I don't
talking
want
about
back.
you have a
I hand you
$50 tab
Yeah.
and you give me 50 cents
Yes.
on a $50
Yeah, see,
tab. You're
that-
probably going to eat them 50 cents.
Yeah, and I totally get it.
So I'm a little more classy and I say,
Excuse me.
it's obvious you need this more than I do. So you can actually just take that back.
Right.
And I say it with a smile, so I feel like it's appropriate.
But she actually looks them in the face while she smiles and throws the quarters over her thing. So it's like,
She's a different breed. I don't know.
So when are you going to come into yours? What you going to come into?
I've gotten there. I've gotten there a little bit. I'm still a little nicer than those two.
I don't.
Well, Kat
You're
said that.
talking shit.
Talking all the bullshit.
Talking
She's
shit.
nicer than y'all.
She's a lie. She's a lie.
You're not nicer than them,
She's hormonal and homicidal. You just didn't caught her on the right day yet.
right? Right. I'm never going to catch your hormonal and homicidal.
If you're
I'm
not
gonna cross the
hormonal and
line.
homicidal, you can't work here. That's just it.
She's had to tell me from the end of the bar. She's like, smile.
Fix your face. I tell her all that all the time. Like, fix your face.
I can't help
I
it.
can't.
Yeah.
It's just how I look.
It's Russian.
I'm just not. I've always said it about her. I'm not saying she invented it, but I'm saying she could take a
Yeah.
patent out
Oh
for that
yeah,
face.
she definitely
That
earned
one
it.
is
That's for
definitely-
sure. Oof.
She got that resting bee face.
Her text messages are even like that, like resting
Really?
bitch face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I bet she's talked her way out of a ticket without even talking. And probably just walked up to the car.
Tickets right now.
Oh, did you get one?
She makes me so mad.
She gets out of them, huh?
No, I drove to West Texas this past week. I'm speeding. I post a picture of the sunset because I'm coming to West Texas. So I post a picture of the sun. Everybody on Facebook's like, slow down. I'm doing like 95 miles an hour. Whatever. This bitch posts rookie numbers. I'll be damned. 32 seconds later, state trooper. So I send her a picture and I'm like, I can't. First I call her and I was like, you. And she's like, what? And I said, let me send you this picture. So it's literally like half of my face and the sirens in the rearview mirror. And she goes, oh, but I'm sorry you didn't have the right app. You didn't say that before you said rookie numbers. You know I have to have directions.
I love it.
So yeah, state trooper got me and he was a butthole. And
Did he have a redneck accent?
no, and normally I can throw on the southern charm. So I was like, sir, I know I'm speeding. I'm so sorry. I really have to pee. Just had surgery. It's been a really long drive. And now we're just got to pee. And now my gas light's like ding, ding, ding. And he goes, well, I'm going to give you a ticket for speeding. And I was like, okay, well, thank you for that. And so he's in a Tahoe. I drive a Yukon ET4. So he comes around the front of my car and he says, where's your front license plate? And I'm like, in my glove box. I don't have a spot for it on my car. And he goes, well, I guess you should take it to the shop and get them to build you a bracket. So I literally put my hand on my passenger seat and I turned to his car and I said, you're driving the same damn thing, and you don't have a front license plate either. And I said, if it's that important for a front license plate in Texas, they need to sell cars that have front license plates.
Right.
I took my ticket and drove off.
officer needs to have one too. How you leading
Yeah.
by example, jerk? How you leading by example? Yeah, I get it. But okay. So so what would you say would be the most challenging thing about working here?
Ooh, you better start with them two.
Is it the drunks? I mean, because y'all babysit them pretty well. I mean,
We
you don't let 'em
try,
get-
but I don't think that we should be responsible for adult behavior. You know how to control yourself. You know what your limits are. You should know what to do. I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's out of your control.
I mean, if I wanted to be responsible for a bunch of kids, I'd go work
Yeah.
at Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
If I wanted to
I
babysit
wouldn't.
a bunch of kids,
I'd rather live in a box.
I mean, if I wanted to babysit a bunch of kids, I'd
Yeah.
go work at the old pumpkin patch.
Yeah. Or the ones that want to argue with you on how much they've had to drink when you try to cut them off. Like.
Or they
it's
argue
hard.
your
Yes.
tab with you, and
Yeah.
I'm like, sir, I'm the sober one in this relationship here. I know
Yeah.
what I've put on your tab. Nobody's doing this.
Right.
This is what you drink.
So I don't actually bartend anymore unless I have to. If I'm shorthanded, I'll bartend, but I don't typically bartend anymore. So for me, the toughest challenge is being 5 foot tall and 5 foot round, and men thinking that they can talk to me any kind of way, but they learn real fast that you really can't. But just the initial of trying to, I mean, I am my own security, if that makes any sense. Like I don't put up with anything. When I came over here in the very beginning, it was rather exciting every weekend, and I have worked my ass off to keep all that down, and I think I've done a pretty good job. And so when someone comes at me disrespectful, it doesn't end in a very good conversation. And as much as I'm not going to allow them to disrespect me, I will not allow them to disrespect my staff.
That's
and
one thing.
I would like to point out that, like you said, when you came over here, it was rough.
It was very rough.
It had gone from a place that it was kind of rough to begin with. Then it became really
rough. Yeah.
They went the wrong direction. The ownership that came on went the wrong direction, took completely in a different direction.
Definitely the
they
wrong
should've.
direction for Rendon, Texas.
Yeah, and so you guys came in, and all of a sudden there were rules.
I mean, there was times where I would be knelt down in the corner just crying because at that point I was in charge and I couldn't fix it. I couldn't figure it out. So there would be times where I just didn't know what to do. And finally I had to make the decision, either keep putting up with it or put your foot down and then you don't have to deal with it. And for the most part, I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Right.
It's pretty easy. People know when you come here, you don't get to just act like a
Yes.
jackass. And a lot of that is for the safety of my staff. I mean, we're a bunch of women, and I'm not calling anyone's parent saying, hey, your kid's in the hospital because they got in a bar fight and hit with a pool stick.
Right.
It's my duty. These are like these are like my sisters. And so I'm like,
Family.
you get one, you get us all. And you don't want that.
One of the first things I noticed when I worked here is how blessed we are with a lot of our regulars. Because, of course, nobody can be anywhere, all over. She
No.
can't be all over this bar. But me working the back bar, I've seen several times where something breaks out and our regulars are right there. No, this don't go on here. And they will start them, escorting them out the door. Our regulars are great
They're the
people.
best.
Yes,
Right.
they are.
And I've seen that too, where someone is under the assumption that they can pull some. I mean, I'll go back to what you said. Okay, so the way I look at it, my rules in life is, who wins the argument, the man or the woman? Well, the woman's going to win.
Most of
Who
the time.
wins the argument between a woman and the bartender? Well, the bartender's going to win. Who wins the argument between the woman and the pregnant bartender? The pregnant bartender is going to win.
100%.
So I tell people all the time, I've been in a bar where it's popped off with a female I'm sitting beside, and I'm like, are you insane? You know the bartender's going to win, right?
Well-
And you're wrong. It doesn't matter. Now this whole bar is mad at me because ain't none of these guys in here going to try to beat you up, but I'm sitting next to you, and they think they can take me. And I had nothing to do with anything that you pulled just now in this bar. I just happened to sit in the wrong place. It's happened, I mean, so I can imagine the challenges that y'all go through with it. Now but we have the rough stories, but where's some funny stuff that happens in a bar?
I feel like we really just focus on the bad
Yeah, I
things.
mean,
like anywhere that you go, it's going to be like there's great things that happen, but you
do
remember like
I have
the one.
funny story.
I don't think I have any.
Yes, you do, because you were involved.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, maybe I do.
Wasn't funny to you.
It's busy. It's really busy in here one night. and I'm standing at the back bar. Andrea passes me. She goes to the bathroom.
Oh,
she
no. Yes,
comes
you're right.
hauling ass out of the bathroom.
I know what it is.
She's running. She's running out of the bathroom, and she grabs me by my arm, and she's like, come to the bathroom with me right now. And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, why do we need to run? Like, what's happening? And she goes, because if I tell you, you're not going to believe me. So we get to the bathroom, and I'm looking at the bathroom like, what is happening, Andrea? And about that time, here comes a hand under the stall, scooping up a pile of poop.
Yeah.
And I said, is that what I think it is? And Andrea said, I told you you wasn't going to believe me if I told you.
So someone shit in the bathroom.
I walked into the bathroom to
Down her pants. It fell out of the bottom of
all
her
I see,
pant
I'm
leg.
standing there. All I see is a foot shoot out the bottom of the toilet, and I was like, "The hell is that?" And then like this little turd goes. Bloop.
So by the
she
time I
pulls her
get
leg back
in, by the time I get in, here comes the arm, and she's scooping it up. And I said, is she scooping up shit? And Andrea said, yes. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'm like, okay. So I go to the stall door, and I'm like, are you okay? And at this point, the smell is rough, right? So, and I used to work in a nursing home when I was really young, and I did the whole booty wiping thing.
Right.
Homegirl cannot do bodily functions anymore.
right.
So I have my shirt over my face, and I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, open the door. I have to get you out of here.
Right.
So I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to take shitty booty out the front door because we got to pass everybody. So I'm going to take you out the side door.
Right.
So I get her sister, and I'm like, get your dad to pull the car around and get her out this side door.
We're gonna lay some plastic bags down.
So they pick her up. I immediately walk out here. I get everybody together, and I said, who the hell served her? And poor Emma goes, it was me. I said, go get your ass some gloves. Homegirl done shitted it up. So I've decided, it's always a problem who is going to clean up throw up. And Emma, I will give it to her. That girl,
She was a trooper, huh?
all the
Thank
time,
God for
all
Emma.
the time.
Thank
She's
God.
always
100%.
like, I'll do it, I got it. But before that, we're all looking at each other like, which one's about to quit? Because,
Right.
nobody wants to do it. So.
Yeah, there's just no way. There's just no way.
And now it's like, okay, well, if you served it, you get to clean it, or you get to throw Emma $20 because Emma will do it.
I'll damn sure throw
Yeah, I'm like, I've pulled $30 out of my pocket before.
So-
Here you go, sister.
My funniest story here, and I don't know if y'all owned it, or I'm sorry, if Kat and Steven owned it at the time. An individual comes in here, and he and his wife have separated. They are done, and he is living with another female. And he comes in here and finds out that his wife, I assume somewhere on the premises, has messed around with someone here on the premises. By messed around, that's whenever I hold my fingers in my ears and go, la, 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 don't tell me anymore. I don't want to know. Because I come in here and I drink and I don't want to know. And so the way it was told to me, it was, he don't want this woman anymore, but he don't want her to have a life, move on, and he doesn't want to know she's doing it in the same county or same city as him. And, it's as the Rendon turns kind of
Right.
thing.
Yes.
And so this knucklehead is trying to fight with this guy, to which the girlfriend is in his way, and he goes, how dare you touch my wife? And the girlfriend's like, hello, I'm standing right here. And he's turning to guys and going, can y'all handle her right now while I handle some business? And we're standing there, and that's whenever I didn't have the ability to do anything but laugh.
I don't think I was here. I don't remember.
My stomach hurt. The two guys that were involved in it, the one guy that was involved, and my friend that was standing next to me laughing, they're both passed away now. They're not with us anymore. But I've never laughed so hard in my entire life. And the thing is when those two died, the story died with them. The girl, I can't get in touch with her, the one girl that was involved. So I'm like, when I tell someone that story, they're like, nuh-uh.
I don't remember
So then one
that.
day whenever I see the girl, I'm like, hey, you got to tell these guys that story because that's a true story.
Well, you have to record it now.
I know,
You're
right?
like
I'm
the
gonna have to put it on
paparazzi, I swear. Whenever I stand next to you, I'm like,
She's
looking at
always
your
watching
phone.
to make sure I don't turn my phone on because you guys got stories.
Well, I'm the worst about mentioning names, and then whenever I drink,
Sure. I changed the names to protect the because we've got some girls
protect the
like there's a girl that we know that we all know. She came in here a lot. I call her Jailbird Annie. Jailbird Annie went to jail in the funniest way I've ever heard someone go to jail. Then to top it all off, when she went to jail, when she got out of jail and told us the story of her jailbird stay, it is one of those comedies, like it should have been made into a comedy movie. It's not.
Who is it?
It's Jailbird Annie. She's one of ours.
Does
She's
Can we write it down? I need to know who I'm
No,
with,
I'll
like to
tell you.
visualize.
Once
I think I know who it
You
is.
know, we'll probably take a break here in just a
Pop
second
it
because
on
we
your
have
phone.
we have to take a break because the algorithm, YouTube, and all that stuff, they want to be able to build it in, and then I'll tell you.
How long is our break?
Long enough to get a refill, right?
You know, you got really lucky for me sitting in on this today, and it was an accident. Pure
know.
ass accident.
And you, the fans, got really lucky.
Yeah, you're
that
welcome.
This person is sitting in. It has nothing to do with the fact that we put a couple of glasses of wine into her. We got
That's
a
not
lot-
wine.
Definitely not.
That's not wine.
Oh, that no.
I don't drink- I don't drink wine.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. All right.
You didn't say 2-1.
All right, I'm back with the ladies. Oh, wow, this thing's possessed. It's going off.
Well, we are haunted, so.
I know, right? Here we go. Yeah, the heartbeat.
You're sitting with the witches of Rendon.
And so let's talk about that. So supposedly there's a ghost here.
Absolutely.
I'm
I
out.
didn't know that till just last week.
Well, guess who don't mess with them guys? This guy. This guy right here.
So
need
who do
stories.
we think it is?
Yes.
You think it's the former owner?
I feel like one of them is Janice.
One of them's Janice, 100%.
Oh, yes.
So
Janice.
why do y'all think there's a ghost? I want to know.
Okay, well,
I have
Janice
seen
this thing
with
on?
my own eyeballs
should be. I don't know why I can't hear you.
It's
I'm
not very
turning you up.
disembodied feet walking across the floor with no body attached. I was
are-
like, swear to God.
I've seen chairs fly off of the ledge.
They would just sit there, and then all of a sudden they would start spinning, and
The
they would
pool
fly
brush
across.
fly off of the top of the pool table, the light.
Oh
You've
yeah.
gotta
I've seen some
understand,
shit.
Janice went home one day and
Oh
never came
yeah,
back.
they told me that.
Just passed away overnight.
Yeah, that was terrible for me.
So yeah, it's hard for a lot of us because
Well, she was supposed to be here working that next day.
You're terrible at this.
I know. And she didn't show up. So I went to her house. As the sheriff were pulling up, I was pulling up as well. And Janice and I were like this. My children call her Nana Jan. And so me and Janice were super, super tight. And so that one was a hard one for me. And then a week later, I suffered a pretty big loss. So, and that's right now. So,
3 days before my mom died.
and then Andrea was in Vegas, or in Reno, for her mom's passing. So when that hit, it hit bam, bam, bam.
They say it hits in threes, though. Yeah.
And it hit hard when it hit. And that's now. Janice, I think, passed the 13th of April.
Yeah.
My granddaughter is the 26th, I believe. And then your mom was,
So
what,
she
the
thinks
11th?
that- You think she's just jacking with y'all?
100%. 100%.
Absolutely.
why wouldn't you?
If you-
I would too.
If
I
you
died, I'll off both
knew,
of 'em.
if you knew
Let's
Janice,
go, baby.
if you knew that cranky old lady, but
It would
she
be
was so
fun
sweet.
for
I loved her.
So I worked at a building. I worked at a building in Houston that there
What'd
was
you say that again?
Houston.
Houston?
Houston.
Houston?
Yeah, Houston.
Houston. We say Houston.
Yeah, I
Houston.
know. You're a
What
bunch
the
of
hell is a
idiots.
Houston?
Any people north of
There's an H in there.
Madisonville.
There's an
It's-
H in
nope,
there.
it's silent.
Houston.
Houston?
Where you
Sam
go to
Houston?
Houston Street.
Jesus
you go to
Christ.
Houston.
I have heard it all. It's Houston, friend.
Y'all go ahead and say
Houston.
it however you want. So my friend Ray, he was so old he worked with my dad whenever my dad was younger.
How old are
And
you, Mike?
I'm 50. And my dad is my dad just turned 70.
I'm glad we put the old folks on that side of the table.
Yeah, I'm 50. Yeah.
That's the geriatric side
I'm
today.
telling you, right? Half a century, right? Born in 74. And
My mother was born in 1970.
yeah, see?
But I'm not calling you daddy. That's
No,
weird.
right,
Not
that's a little
doing
too
it.
creepy.
Not doing
A little
it.
too much. So the guy Ray, when he passed away, like 3 days after he was dead, we think it was his brother that did it, but 3 days after he was dead, Ray was one of those guys that always sent you an email about something stupid, and raging against the machine and why the right's right and why the left's wrong, and he was just that kind of guy. Well, he sent a funny email 3 days after he'd been buried. And so we assumed that somebody just logged into his computer, his brother or somebody. But that whole shop was convinced that man
Well,
communicating from the grave. So that whole shop was convinced that shop was haunted. And then, like you said, random lights were kicking off. They couldn't get a clock to stay set right.
well, after the whole Janice thing, and then I suffered my loss a week later, a couple months had went by. And so I didn't forget, but it just wasn't on the front of my mind like it had been. So it's pouring down rain. I'm talking the gates opened. It is raining in Rendon. I'm in my Camaro, and I had a Camaro SS, 6-speed, and that thing was quick. It was really quick. So I'm at the red light right here at Rendon Road and 1187. I'm coming here. It's pouring down rain. I can't see shit. My phone rings, and it comes on my phone, Janice Ward. I gassed it because it scared the living shit out of me. So I gas it through the light. I fishtail it. I get here, and I am shaking. And Tina goes, what the hell's wrong with you? I said, Janice just called. She said, what? She said, I'm pretty sure there's not phones there. I'm like,
Right.
well, here's the call log. It was her son calling me. And so I was like, say, dude, you can't do shit like that. Like, you're supposed to turn the phone off, change the number, whatever you need to do. You cannot do things like that to people, especially in traffic. Like, what are you doing?
But you know, when Robbie died, his parents had his phone, and we had to go through it to make sure
Yeah.
that we let everyone know. And so when Robbie passed away, I was like, I am not calling people from this number. Everybody knows.
Nor am I going through their phone. Like, I feel like there's shit in there you don't want to see.
Well, and that's why his parents wanted me to go through the phone.
They didn't want to see all of
They
it.
were like, if there's something in there, I don't want to see it. So, you know, when it's over and done with. But that was awesome. That was all. Should we say that on the radio?
No, you're fine.
Should we say it on the radio? He
What?
just walked into the women's bathroom.
Yeah, I think so.
He didn't realize that.
Well, he does sit when he pees.
Yeah, I identify.
I didn't say that, Wes.
I
All
did.
right, so now we got to talk about Jailbird Annie. Now that y'all know who Jailbird Annie is.
That's great.
So do y'all know her jailbird story? Have you heard it?
No, I know she disappeared from here, and you know she was a regular every single day at lunchtime and after work and all the things. And
Okay, so Annie, just to let everyone know, Annie was a regular, and she does not drink and drive.
Right,
She takes
right.
Uber everywhere.
everywhere,
Uber everywhere. Does
I
not
would
drink
hate
and
her Uber bill. I would not want it. I wouldn't want it.
She was very
I
successful.
never had that
Yeah.
when we were drinking.
No, right.
Never had that.
Back
We didn't
when
have cameras to film our stupid
Did you have something
shit
we can
either.
throw at her?
you couldn't call Moses to come get you back then. You called Moses. Moses came and got your ass.
So Jailbird Annie, poor Jailbird Annie, she poor Jailbird Annie, she goes to. I'm sorry, there's a lot going on here in the bar right now.
Squirrel.
I'm shitting.
Squirrel, right? And
I feel like I'm in a tin can.
Just quit moving it, because every time you move it, I adjust your mic.
Well, it sounds like I'm in a can.
You're not.
Everybody
It's a
sounds like
podcast.
that.
It's because we're not in a soundproof room. We're in the middle of a bar, in the middle of a dance floor.
Oh, there's Tina and all her
The
goodness.
super
like,
party
what
animals.
What the hell is happening here?
Oh my god.
She said it. Did you hear her say it?
She did.
Hi, Tina. Bye, Jason.
So
Sorry.
old Jailbird Annie goes home one night, and she was at someone else's house. She wasn't here. And she had rode home in an Uber and couldn't find her key to get into
Yes.
her roommate's house.
I did hear that.
So she went around to the back porch to look for the key underneath the flower pot, kind of thing, whatever it is. She broke something and it made noise.
I thought she fell off the porch.
In her
Broke a
drunk,
flower pot.
I think she just dropped the flower pot.
And the
But she was
neighbors
laying
called.
on the porch when the cops got
Definitely
there.
knows what we're talking
Yeah.
about,
And
right?
so she it was a hot night. She's drunk. She knows her roommate will be home. She lays down on the porch, goes to sleep. Well, when the PD shows up, when the SO shows up, they run her driver's license
She had
or
a
her
warrant.
ID, and she had a warrant. So they take her, and she's in the system, and they're like, we're just going to hold you until like credit for time served. And so they leave her in there. And I mean, like,
She was in there for like 3 or 4
I don't
months.
understand. If she was at her house, what was she doing wrong? She was.
Well, wasn't it
They
she was
ran
doing
her and she
something
had a
wrong?
warrant.
It was a welfare
okay.
check.
They didn't know who
Okay,
she
okay,
was.
okay,
Welfare
okay.
check. She's lying on the back porch. The neighbors heard something. They don't know if someone's trying to break in. It's full blown. The cops are justified in doing it.
No,
It's
I
just
get
a
it.
welfare
I get
check.
it now. I thought you were.
But then the police show up and take her. So she is kind of a timid person.
Very timid.
And so while she's in the system, you have that's the whole reason why she got the warrant was, well, they never called me. No, well, they never called me. Well, while you're in the system, you have to go, hey, man, I'm not supposed to be here. This is where the new people are. I've been here for 4 weeks now. After 4 weeks, I should have been moved to another tier. This
See,
is where
I
they're
don't
coming in
understand
now.
that because I went to jail one time for 8 hours and I cried for 7 hours and 52 minutes. They know I was there.
Right.
They
Well, I
threw me
think
in the
she-
trustee thing, and I was like, so great. I'm in here with Molly Hatchet. My grandma's at home making cookies. Homegirl's in here talking to her boyfriend in the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, your ass should be at home making cookies. What's happening?
She's in this system for so long that when she gets out, of course, she's been in there, like you said, 3 months.
Yeah.
So her cell phone is turned off. She has
No job.
no job. She has what little bit she has on her. And what does the knucklehead do? She wants to drink. She's like, I haven't had a drink 3 months.
Came straight here.
Right.
Yeah.
gets an Uber straight here.
Tina called me and she said, "You'll never believe."
So Annie has
I
a
said,
drink.
"Does she smell like Fritos?" That's what you normally smell like.
After you get out of jail,
You
you
smell like
Fritos
you
and
smell like,
ramen
oh,
noodles. huh?
gross.
So she comes out. She comes out, has a few drinks, and then says, "Okay, now I got to go home." So she gets in the Uber, and it's dark, and she goes home to her roommate's house, and the roommate doesn't know she's coming.
Oh
because
no,
she
I didn't
couldn't
hear
get
that
in
part.
touch with her on the phone. This is where it gets hilarious because this is Annie.
Lord.
This is so what would happen to the jailbird. She goes and gets there to the roommate's house and knocks on the door. Roommate calls cops.
Oh
She goes
no.
around and knocks on the back door.
I didn't hear that part because she quit coming.
Yeah.
Right. And roommate calls the cops. So the cops come. The cops are talking to the roommate at the front door. The roommate at the front door says, they said, "Do you have a roommate?" And she says, "Well, I do, but she's in jail. I don't know where."
Yeti.
She goes, "I don't know where." She's, "Go get you one. Just go."
No, I'm saying, what is
It's
that?
Yeti's call. It's
Oh,
Yeti's.
okay.
Yeti's
I'm like,
call.
what is that tapping? I feel like somebody's trying to get our attention.
So
I'm trying to get her attention. We raised the flag,
we want drinks.
kinda.
I'm good, thank you though.
I'm good too.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you get breaks around here?
She's the owner. I don't know. Yep. She gets one. Apparently, she gets one break. She said.
Raise their own flag.
Yeah, one break. So Annie is knocking on this back door. The police come to the front door again. They talk to the roommate. They go around the back, shine a light into Annie's eyes, and she just goes, "Screw it!" I surrender.
Oh no,
Hands
I'm
behind her
running.
back. I'm going.
You ain't running far.
Well,
I'm
they
running.
They bring her around the front, and then her and the roommate are boohooing and crying and hug each other, and they're happy, and it's a happy reunion, and she didn't go to jail. But she's just like, by the end, she was just like, "Screw it, I'm going back. It's just take me back."
I'm running. I'm running. I'm not gonna get very
I
far.
ain't getting anywhere.
I don't know how they caught you to put you in there 7 hours and 52 minutes.
Well, the craziest shit is I was on my way home from Shreveport. I got pulled over. I had a warrant here. And the girl that was riding with me was shithouse. They let her follow the cop car to the jail
Oh
to
my
wait for
God.
me to get out.
And she's just gone.
Never been in jail in my life. So the cop is like, "Well, I'm not going to stuff and cuff you. I'm just going to put you in the front seat." So on the way to the jail, I'm mad. I'm like, it's state trooper again. They hate me. And I'm like, "Please, like, can we talk about this? Like, it's nothing I did anyways. It's a long story." But he goes, "Actually, what do you do for a living?" I said, "I'm a bartender." And he goes, "I'm having this big ass party this weekend at my house. How do you make a redheaded slut?" I said, "I'll tell you if you let me out." He said, "I'll Google it." I was like, "You rat bastard."
How about this? I'll bartend your event.
So
and you let me-
I get to the jail.
For free.
I get to the jail and I don't know what to expect, right? So I walk into the jail and this big old lady, she said, "How are you today?" I'm like, "Oh no, this isn't going to end well for me, right?" And I was like, "What do I do?" And she said, "Take off all your clothes and squat down and cough." And I'm like, this lady just raped me with her eyes. I don't know what's going to happen to me for the next however long it takes me to get out of here.
I thought Lady Jail was so much nicer than
This
that.
broad had a deeper voice than you and bigger muscles. And I was just like, what's happening? And so me, I'm young and I take everything off. And if you have any colored or striped panties, you have to discard. You got to get rid of them things
You gotta
too.
have those granny whiteys.
So they hand me this pair of scrubs and she goes, "It's your lucky day. They're pink." And I'm thinking, I'm not worried about that. I'm thinking about what's in the crotch of these things because I can't wear my drawers. And my bra is solid, but it has underwire. And she said, "Can't wear that either." I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to hang myself with this little bitty piece of underwire, whatever." So she's got me willy-nilly and out the room after she violated me. And we're walking down the hall and the trustees are out. It's a man and women's jail. And the trustees are out, and I'm freaking out. And she's like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna let him get you." And I'm like,
Like
not
there was
worried.
a possibility?
I'm not worried about them getting me. I'm worried about her getting me. This was the
I'm hoping
biggest
the
bitch I'd ever
trustees
seen in my
protect
life.
me.
So then they opened the door, and where I was in Canton. In Van Zandt County, they don't have bars. It's a cement room with the cement door, or big old door. That's where you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So she opens the door and just kind of kicks me in. So it took me about, 17 minutes to get on the top bunk. And then I heard the keys jingling the next morning, baby. It took me 2.5. I had my mat in my hand. I was ready to go.
It was out.
That lady said, "How do you know they're coming for you?" I said, "Well, y'all apparently been here for a minute. I'm just waiting on a judge." I'm out this bitch. I got to
Oh
go.
my God, I love it.
Are you going to eat your breakfast? Nope, sure not. What is that? Like, what is that? No, sure not. Not going to do that.
All right, so we're coming down to the end. We got to go over what's coming up. Thursday night is karaoke. Big B's going to be doing that. Right?
Andrea?
Andrea's doing that.
Well,
And
B
you're-
does
you're working-
karaoke. Andrea.
I'm sorry, you're working the bar. And Friday's William Wallace. That's all hands. Y'all all going to be here for
Yes, sir.
William Wallace Band. And then Saturday's Big in Vegas Band. And starting May 1st, we have dance lessons.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun.
And 422 is Service Industry Night with Aaron Copeland and Stephen Helms.
With Andrea.
Andrew's going to be doing that, and that'll be
Don't
free
bring
pool.
your quarters.
Free pool and darts.
Bills and quarters are fine, just quarters no.
Happy hour all night. Yeah, right. Bills and quarters are fine. Throw a bill with a quarter, you'll be all right.
Happier than hell.
I'm gonna
Take
bring
it.
a roll of pennies and put it in your
You're gonna get hit in the head with a roll of pennies.
Vic-
Those are heavy, by the way.
Mickey Lynn and I, the only fight we ever had was because my tab was $4.25, and I tipped her 75 cents on the card, but I had the $2 in cash that I threw in a jar, and she didn't see it. Oh my God! she
I'm
was
about
so
to blow your
mad.
mind for a minute. So I'll be 40 this year. I started bartending when I was 17, and Vicky taught me.
No,
At-
26 years.
yeah.
I mean, she's been a bartender for
She taught me when I was 17. She taught me a lot of things I probably didn't need to know,
right.
but she taught me how to be a bartender.
And that one
Her
is deathly
Vickyisms were
afraid.
my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
deathly afraid of ghosts.
Oh,
Deathly afraid.
100%.
Like,
100%.
like, and I told her that time she was so mad at me. I was like, you better be glad I didn't get mad back at you, because I'd have put a baby monitor in that kitchen, and I would have been, let me in.
Oh, she is the biggest weenie. I love her to death.
She
She
would
would-
have screamed and ran out the building.
She would open here on Mondays and Tuesdays, and she'd call me and say, "I don't know why the lights flickering. The light in the back in
You
the
know what,
Jason's
though?
closet."
I'm not even kidding. They have not flickered since that broad left.
But they
Right?
flickered every time she was
The
here
entire time she was here, they would flicker. But when she left,
at the backboard.
in
No,
the
in the
closet.
closet.
Closet back
they
there.
have never done it since.
It's
They
the
haven't.
ghost that follows her.
I swear to God. I mean, she might not have been wrong. I don't know.
She's not
I don't know what she was. I've never
not living
picked
her
her.
life right. That's what it is.
Yes.
She didn't live it in her house either because she wouldn't go inside.
She wouldn't go inside the
She'd
house.
sleep in her
If
car
she
and
was
everything.
alone, she would not go in the house.
She'd
Wow.
sleep in a parking lot.
It was.
out here.
It's a whole thing for her.
Yep,
Yeah.
scared to death of them. All right, so you guys, thanks for being on the show. We appreciate it. The Hoots ladies, I think y'all are going to do really, really well here in the future. Everybody's going to know not to mess with y'all. know?
If they don't know by now,
I'm nicer than my face looks, I swear.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. The jury's still out on that.
Andrea just has the
You're
rest
new.
of
You
me.
shut up.
Right? And
I
you're
can tell you.
smiling all the time, you know? You're smiling all the time, Kandi,
I'm a
and you're
happy
mean as
person.
heck, right?
That's her
what
medication.
I
Maybe
am-
I need what she's on. I
I'm
don't know.
not me.
hey, when you hit a certain age, your doctor prescribes different
Maybe
things.
we should call it that. Homicidal hormone Hoots ladies, right?
Hormonal and homicidal, 100%.
Hormonal and homicidal Hoots ladies.
I'm
I
not
love it.
homicidal.
I'm not
Oh, I
homicidal.
100%.
Yeah, that one's definitely. Yeah,
I'm the nice one of this whole table.
she is.
Right, right.
Far
You just have the look, right? I just have the look. I'm
That's
the
right.
nicest
This is
one,
how to
right?
let them know.
Out of all of it. All right, thanks for everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like and follow the podcast, and come up here to Hoots and say hi to the ladies and tell them Mike Wilshire sent you. Bye.
Bye.
Check.